MAGA literally went from saying release the files to protect the files. Many people are naively holding their heads saying that the leaders of MAGA have gone crazy, but they have not. What they're doing is actually a very effective gaslighting tactic. They deliberately keep changing the goalposts or presenting counter arguments, never taking accountability for anything. This is a very effective gaslighting tactic that provides them with better outcomes than taking accountability for any claims presented against them. Whenever Trump does or says something inappropriate or terrible, rather than acknowledging it, most Republican senators and congressmen instead respond by presenting counter narratives and talking points in an attempt to undermine the criticisms of Trump. This gaslighting objective is to make the critics of Trump question the merits of their own criticism and their own positions. The Republicans will continue this until the critics of Trump begins to question their own reality and positions. What we are witnessing firsthand is the same gaslighting tactics that the white establishment as a whole, both white Republicans and white Democrats, deploys against the black population in response to black protests and demands for equality. For many centuries, whenever black people attempt to protest any mistreatment or any inequalities that we endure by the white societies, the white establishment never legitimized any of our grievances. They instead always respond by presenting counter narratives that undermines the black protests and grievances. It's a distraction tactic known as mass gaslighting warfare. This tactic is what's being done to black people whenever the white society labels black people as being racist for protesting against white racism towards us. This tactic shifts the focus away from the white racism being protested and instead forces the black protesters to instead engage in defending ourselves against the false accusations of white racism. Meanwhile, the true issue of white racism is never addressed by the white establishment. This tactic is also what's being done to us when they claim that we're asking for handouts when we're asking for what we actually deserve. They deploy this tactic against us so that our claims will never gain any momentum or traction, and therefore we stop pursuing these claims. Black people are in an abusive relationship with a narcissistic white society. And just like in most relationships with narcissistic abusers, they perpetually gaslight black people. We must learn of these tactics in order to overcome it. This is why those of us who know the truth must teach African proverb. The term gaslighting psychological abuse is usually associated with individual abusive relationships, wherein which one person is manipulated and mentally abused for the benefit of the other. However, that same system is also being used on a large-scale level by the white society against the black population. It's then referred to as mass gaslighting psychological warfare. Gaslighting warfare is a form of mental abuse wherein which the grievances and protests of the oppressed are never acknowledged nor legitimized by the oppressors. Information is instead always twisted, spun, and or selectively omitted to favor the oppressors. This is continued until the oppressed begins to question their own reality. This psychological warfare practice is what you're witnessing when the white establishment says that all lives matters as a rebuttal to Black Lives Matter. They've never kept all lives. This rebuttal is merely a distraction tactic. It's intentionally designed to divert attention away from the issue of black victims being routinely killed by white cops. It's also used to diffuse the moral statement that Black Lives Matters. Within this gaslighting psychological warfare system, the white establishment is never acknowledged as morally wrong, and the black oppressed is never acknowledged as morally correct. This practice is continued until the black population begin to doubt our own positions. Many begin to think that, doubt the reasons for protesting, thinking that if our cause isn't being recognized by the dominant population, then perhaps it lacks merit. The minds of targeted populations are quite easy to manipulate if they're unaware of what's actually being done to them. Once minds are confused, manipulations become simple. The mind will even ignore common sense, and rationality falls away, overlooking hypocrisy and deception. The white establishment secretly perceived true equality for the black population as an erosion of its power. Therefore, this gaslighting tactic prevents the erosion of the white society's power by distracting and confusing the black population in our quest for achieving true equality. Here's an important side note. The white oppressors are playing chess while black people are playing checkers. After Trump's terms, power will swing back to the Democrats, who will start repairing the economic diplomatic damages from his presidency. But they will purposely stall on restoring the rights African Americans have lost. It will then become clear to many African Americans that the Trump's presidency was an elaborate scheme that both parties secretly worked together to erode the equality gained made by African Americans, returning them back to the pre-1960s level. By misleading African Americans to believe that the white Democrats were our allies while quietly undoing our advances, the plan faced no black resistance and succeeded fully. Black people have also been trauma bonded by the white society. The term trauma bonded relationship is usually associated with an individual abusive relationship where an abused person is bonded to a narcissistic abuser. This is achieved when the abuser brutalizes the victim, that minimizes the abuse, telling the victim to get over it. The abuser then inundates the victim with demoralizing and disapproving narratives, causing the victim to focus on seeking the abuser's approval rather than resenting the abuser. This tactic is a form of gaslighting. Similarly, the white society has used the same trauma bonding tactic to manipulate black people. After centuries of brutalizing black people, the white society has never acknowledged its wrongdoing. Instead, insists that the abuse was not that bad and telling black people to just get over it. The white society has even whitewashes textbooks, the history books, claiming that the white society's enslavement of black people actually improved our lives. Then it constantly inundates black people with black racially demoralizing, disapproving narratives, causing many black people to become self-loathing and then seek white approval. Many black, rather than resenting the white society, we seek their approval. This is the truth of our condition. Black people are in a trauma-bonded, abusive relationship with a narcissistic white society. And just like in most abusive relationships, the white abusers have manipulated many black people to believe that the abuse we endured was our own fault. It's a psychological mind hack. The minds of targeted populations are easy to manipulate if they're unaware of what's being done to them. Once minds are confused, manipulation becomes simple. The mind will even ignore common sense, and rationality falls away, overlooking hypocrisy and deception. The truth has finally come forth, but millions of us have been brainwashed to fear it and to hate those who speaks it. These are those people who've been brainwashed to function as wardens of their own mental prison. Millions of black people also refuse to accept the truth because of the inherent call for action that comes with accepting it. Therefore, many instead cling to their biblical fairy tale and their silly slave syndrome myth that keeps their minds dumbfounded, dumbed down, and mentally enslaved to the benefit of all oppressors. It is time to wake up to our reality. It is time to wake up to our reality. One love and peace.